Oh, yes. What's happening, everybody? It's 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. We got UFC 290 coming up this Saturday, headlined by Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Going to be a really good pay-per-view card here. The undercard is excellent as well. There should be a lot of really fun fights on this card. Fighters from all corners of the globe. Some really exciting young fighters, some good young prospects on this card. And a lot of late minute, like last minute replacements for a lot of these fighters as well. We've got Valentine Woodburn going on, on a pay-per-view card here and squaring off against Bo Nickel. We got the Muscle Hamster coming in and fighting Jack Della Maddalena. We've got Edgar Cairez fighting Tatsuro Taira. We've got Terrence Mitchell fighting against Cameron Simon. So there's some mismatches, but that these prospects that the UFC is really high on are going to be able to show off a little bit here. And we've got a lot of juiced lines, so it's going to be difficult to find value this week. If you like Robert Whittaker, you probably don't like him at minus 400. If you like Jalen Turner, it's kind of hard to like him at minus 250 against a veteran that's well tested like Hooker. And it just goes on and on. Volkanovski's minus 400. Tatsuro Taira is like minus 1,100. Bo Nickel's like minus 2,500. So we're going to have to get creative. We don't want to be that square that's putting together a 4-leg parlay at minus 150 and then wondering why it didn't hit at the end of the night. Let's try to figure it out together, you guys. I got my stats ready. I can share my screen with you guys whenever you're ready for me to. Ask me any questions that you have about any of the fighters, any of the fights. I've got PrizePicks up and ready to go here. I've got my sports books ready to go. Let me just make sure. Okay, I'm good there. And my DraftKings, let me get to the sports book there. And we could do DFS. We can do PrizePicks. We can do anything that you need in order to find ways to stack cash tickets like flapjacks on UFC 290 and enjoy this card even more because we make money betting on it as well as enjoying the fights that are on tap for us. Let's see what's going on in the chat. My guy Victor DeJesus in the room as always saying, "Oi, yes, what's up, Vic? Good to see you hanging out in here." And we got Terry Mizzo in the room saying Weezy is the fucking man. He's Moreno type likability. I appreciate that, man. Those are very kind words, Terry. I'm usually a dick most of the time, but when I've got a cold Paloma in my hand with a couple of shots of tequila, some fresh lime, a pinch of salt, I become a lot more likable when I'm drinking a delicious beverage like this, talking with the best fans in the world about the best sport in the world, mixed martial arts in the UFC. Appreciate you, Terry. Let me know if you have any questions about this card. We got Vulgar Sports Channel in the room saying, "Oi, Weezy, I used to be XXA Money. Now I'm rebranding to make sports content with crude humor. There are no rules. Let's stack them like flapjacks. Oi, welcome, Vulgar Sports Channel. And I definitely know who you are with the XXA Money. Appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing what the channel has in store for us, my man. We got Notorious Sushi in the room saying, "Nice, let's go, guys." We got Zen Monkey in the room with the steaming flapjacks. I love it, dude. How's it going? Good to see you hanging out in here with us. We got the Cuban Assassin saying, "What it do, Weezy? When's your birthday? I'm going to buy you a cameo message from Sean Strickland." Imagine how that would go. That would be absolutely awesome. I mean, who wouldn't love that for their birthday? And I got the easiest birthday to remember in the world, Cuban Assassin. All you got to do is look in your Bible right there at the beginning. It's called Genesis. And when you open up that book, it's going to tell you on the first day, God made Uncle Weezy. The first day. And it's the first day of the year, baby. January 1st. I am a New Year's baby. January 1st is the birthday. And on the first day, God made Uncle Weezy. So I'm still here, ready to answer your questions about UFC 290. Let's get it going here, man. And we got Vulgar Sports Channel saying, "Oi, oi, oi. What's up, dude?" Sean Strickland cameo would go crazy. That would be absolutely hilarious. And then this was me doing this, like just about 8 minutes in. So I did a show on from 8 to 9 on Pub Sports Radio about DFS with my guys DFS by the Numbers, Gordo Gambles, and Monk. And we did, we always talk about DFS there for about an hour. So I had after that get dinner. Baby, I scarfed it down so that we could get here, but still wasn't even done until 5 minutes after the hour. So then I had to fix myself a drink so that we could, discuss sports together, discuss the fights together, and see what we can find in terms of ways to make some money here. All right. And we got T-Funk in the room saying, oi! And we got my guy True saying Cubs score 3 in the 9th and hold on to beat the Brew Crew. God bless them. I'm a Cub fan. I'm a Chicago guy. I've always been a Cub fan. Many, many years of disappointment. But then in 2016, the young men, they put it all together, took care of business, won the World Series. And I feel like I can die happy now because I got to see them win it once. Just once. And it'll maybe never be again in my lifetime, but I'm good with once, man. That was awesome. And it's good to see them winning. I saw that they were trash earlier this year, but it looks like that they're starting to put together some wins here. So go Chicago Cubbies. We got Vulgar Sports Channel saying Palomo locks. Let's go. We got Sneerius with the pancakes in the room. What's up? Saying oi. And we've got Jester saying let's go Weezy. We've got a guy who loves beer saying good evening Weezy. I'm also a guy who loves beer. It's always good to have fellow like minds in the room here. We got Christian Jenkins saying, oi, what's popping, Uncle Weezy? What you cooking up on PrizePicks this week? And I thought you'd never ask. So let's have a look-see. Let's share that screen there. And let's have a look at PrizePicks for this week. So some spots that I think are pretty good. I think 100.5 fantasy points for Nico Price is a little bit high. He's not really much of a wrestler. He is a pretty high volume striker, but I think that close is actually fight is pretty close to 50-50. So I actually like Nico Price less than 100.5 fantasy score. I like Yasmin Jauregui to get more than 90.5 fantasy score. I think Volkanovski probably gets 124 points, but I'm not. I mean, that is a very high total. Let me see here. I like nothing there. There was an under 7.5 minutes for Vitor Petrino, but I think they took it off the board. Jack Della Maddalena under 4 minutes. Yeah, I think Jack Della Maddalena goes under 4 minutes. Less than 4 minutes. And then we've got significant strikes. Oh, no, it's going to be the fight time. I like Brandon Moreno more than 20 minutes. Jalen Turner under 10 minutes, I think, is a pretty good spot, too. Yeah. Let's do a 5 leg play here. $20 to win 200. It's going to be Jalen Turner, less than 10 minutes of fight time. Brandon Moreno, more than 20 minutes of fight time. We could do Jack Della Maddalena, less than 4 minutes of fight time. Or I also like Alexander Volkanovski, less than 22.5 minutes of fight time, which we see right here on the screen. Excuse me. I like Yasmin Jauregui to score more than 90.5 fantasy points. I think she can get a second or a third round finish against this girl. And if she doesn't, I think she scores 71 points in 15 minutes in order to get that 20 points from the decision win here. I do think Yasmin's going to cover that 90.5. And, Nico Price at 100.5 fantasy score, he could certainly score in the triple digits here because Robbie Lawler is 41 years old. So let's do this. Let's take that one out. And let's do Alexander the Great Volkanovski, less than 22.5 minutes. I think that he's going to find a way to finish this fight. And if he doesn't, I think that Yair, with his, flashy striking, can find a way to get this going. So, yeah, we're going to do less than 22.5 minute fight time for Volk, less than 10 minutes of fight time for Jalen, more than 20 minutes of fight time for Brandon Moreno, less than 4 minutes of fight time for Jack Della Maddalena, and more than 90.5 fantasy score for Yasmin Jauregui. $20 to win 200. Let's get it, Christian. Let's go. Snerius, my guy in the room, saying got to be sharp this week. There is no question about it, man, because look, us gamblers, we have to be concerned about price on the long term. When you hear somebody say, just pick the fighters that win, that's an instant indication that they know nothing about math and they know nothing about how to be a long-term winner in gambling. It's always about price. It's always about finding value in the price. Find a 25% price where you think that there's a 35% probability. Those are the kind of bets that over the long term will help you be a long-term winner. So when you see lines at minus 400, minus 600, minus 900, minus 1200, minus 2500, there's no point in parlaying those outcomes. You're better off taking the underdog at their best win condition, putting just a small amount of money on it, and then that way you can take those losses. You can't be afraid to lose. What you do need to do is be afraid to lay juice and lose, because that's the kind of losses that wind up really piling up very quickly. So yeah, got to be sharp this week, Snerius. We got to really find the sharp spots. The Notorious Sushi saying, let's cash those flapjacks. Let's go. We got Vulgar Sports Channel thinking Yasmin TKO and JDM round 1-2 KO. I like both of those spots. I think they're both really sharp spots. Yasmin is much better than this girl Gomez. And she's very durable as well. She's tough. She's got that dog in her, just like Denise does. So I think it's going to be a really good fight, but I think the skill level between these two is going to become very evident very quick. Yasmin is much faster. She's got much better footwork, and she uses her length well, and she's always countering. That's what's great about Yasmin, is that when you start stepping into her range, something's always going to be coming back at you with bad intentions. So I do like Yasmin TKO, and I like JDM round 1-2 TKO. We got Jester saying the down under parlay. Canada hit last time. Yeah, man, that was like a 5 or a 6 legger that hit. That would have been big time plus money. So you're down under parlay. Now, I don't think it hits because I don't think Shannon Ross wins. But so down under, we've got Shannon Ross. We've got Jimmy Crute. We've got Jack Della Maddalena. Woodburn. We got Dan Hooker, who's a pretty big underdog. And we got Volkanovski, who's a pretty big favorite. Yeah, that's it's a risky parlay, obviously, with Shannon Ross and Dan Hooker in there. But, it's one way to look at it, man. Maybe all the Australian boys stand up and take care of business on Saturday, dude. I mean, certainly stranger things have happened than that. So you never know, man. It might actually work. New Zealand and Australia, yeah, because we got to throw like Hooker in there, and a lot of those guys are Australian, but they train in New Zealand. But and Whitaker, I forgot about Whitaker. Yeah, Whitaker too. And my guy Fight Talk Only, my T.O. Weezy, what's up, dude? Good to see you hanging out in here, man. We got Kyle Kelly is in the room, and he is saying, what is your go-to food and drink when the main card starts? Also, what's your favorite dog, 7,000 and below? Okay, so for 7K and below, Let's have a look-see. So Yair Rodriguez at 7,000, Denise Gomez at 69, Terrence Mitchell at 68, Kyrez at 66, Muscle Hamster at 65, Val Woodburn at 64. I would definitely say Yair Rodriguez because you're probably going to get at least 2 to 3 rounds out of him. And if he gets you that many rounds, he's a very high volume guy. He scores a lot of points per minute. You could see here, Volkanovski Rodriguez. So Volk's very high scoring. He's scoring 3.95 DraftKings points per minute, and he allows 1.93. Yair scores 2.86 DraftKings points a minute, and he allows 2.87. So, but at distance, he's landing almost 6 significant strikes per minute. So he's very busy there at distance. And so is Volkanovski. So I think that and when this fight is on the feet, that these guys are going to be racking up points, both of them. So I think Volk's if Volk's not in your lineup, even if he is in your lineup, you can stack that fight. It wouldn't be the worst way to go. I think Denise Gomez, if Jauregui has problems with her pressure, could be an interesting play at 6,900. I think Terrence Mitchell is going to get run into a dick saw. I just don't see him giving Cam Simon any trouble. Kyrez, same thing. I think he's going to get submitted in the second round, maybe even in the first. The Muscle Hamster, I don't like his chances. And I think Val Woodburn is actually a good play this week because, number one, you can get him for 6,400. And if you start with him at 6,400, the rest of your team can have an average salary of 8,700. So, like, let's say you even throw Pantoja in there at 7,500. Now you've got 9,000 in an average salary, and you can go and get guys like Jalen Turner in there. You could get Vitor Petrino at 9,000. You could get Whitaker and Volkanovski. And I mean, you got Turner, Petrino, Volkanovski, Whitaker, 4 guys that probably win. Pantoja, even if he loses, he can get you 25 minutes and maybe score you 75 points. And then you punt with Woodburn. And guess what? If Bo Nickel goes out there and slips on a banana peel or some shit, Woodburn is definitely fucking optimal if he wins that fight because only 1 to 3% of the people are even going to have him. So, like, you could take Woodburn as an underdog at 6,400 as a punt, get one other underdog in your lineup, and then just stack a bunch of really big names like Turner, Petrino, Volk, Whitaker here, and put some really powerful guys in there that are going to score probably 100 points apiece. So my favorite dog 7K and below would probably be the guy what do you call it? Yair Rodriguez, but I think Val Woodburn could be a very interesting punt, especially for multi-entry tournaments this week. All right. We got Justin J in the room saying, "Oi, Weezy, what's up, Justin J?" My guy, Money Printer in the room, Martin Dermov saying, "Duplessis by Paddy Pimblett decision this week. Calling it now. Adesanya versus DDP sells way more than Whitaker 3. Hey, we know that the UFC is a for-profit corporation, and we know that these judges are corrupt and or incompetent. I tend to lean towards corruption more than I do incompetence. When somebody gives a horseshit scorecard and you see him right there next week at cage side, and they flew him halfway across the country to be there, you know that you're seeing corruption in the front row. So it's always good to ask yourself, especially if you do think a fight is going to decision, who does the UFC need to win? Because Robert Whitaker, as talented of a kickboxer as he is, as stud of a middleweight as he is, only losing to Israel Adesanya over the last 10 years as a middleweight, the guy's a top-notch mixed martial artist, but does he move the dial? And if you're the UFC and you feel that he doesn't move the dial, but that Drickus could, get all of South Africa watching, they might, you might get that decision. And my guy Martin's sharp. He's sharp as fuck. So this guy knows what he's talking about. Appreciate you, Martin. And that is not a bad look. I am glad you brought that up because it always does matter. What does the UFC want? We got Boob in the room. Will all 7 undefeated fighters this card remain undefeated? So, we're gonna start all the way with Kirk and Ribovic. Ribovic's not undefeated anymore. Neither are Ross and Aguilar. Is Simon still undefeated? I believe so. Yes, he's 8-0, and I think he stays undefeated. Petrino, I think, stays undefeated, but Prachnio by decision at plus 600 or better is actually kind of interesting. He's a very talented kickboxer, 58.5% distance striking defense. Perhaps he can use his kicking game to kind of stay ahead, but I think Petrino actually just destroys him. So, I think Petrino does stay undefeated. Tyra, I think he stays undefeated. Jauregui, I think she stays undefeated. Jack is not undefeated. The muscle hamster is undefeated, so he will not be staying undefeated, in my humble opinion, as well as Val Woodburn. So we got two undefeated fighters. So somebody's O has to go unless this one winds up being a draw or a no contest. So obviously, I think we're going to see 2 fighters lose their undefeated records here. And then nobody else here is undefeated on this card, I don't believe. Whitaker, Duplessis, Moreno, Pantoja, Volkanovski, Rodriguez. Nobody's undefeated. So, I don't think I think we could see 5 of them stay undefeated. I don't think that's a stretch at all, but we could see 3 of them lose their O. Potentially, Petrino might lose. We'll see. It's MMA. Any of them can lose. Let's face it. But I like a lot of these undefeated fighters stay undefeated. Corey Mann in the room. Oi, what's up, Corey? And we got Brandon Gutierrez in the room saying, oi, Tio Weezy. What's up, Brandon? Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. We got Giga Chat of NPC saying, what's up, King? Good to see you in here. We got T-Funk saying, feel like I'm on an island here, but I'm taking a shot with Prachnio. If he doesn't get knocked out early, I think the line is too wide. I agree with that. I think that he's a very good point fighter. And if he can stay defensively responsible and avoid the big shot from Petrino, I think he could look pretty good here. But Petrino's young. He's explosive. He looks really fast for as much muscle as he has on his frame, too. And the guy, he hits super hard. So, I'm not going to be surprised at all. I think the PrizePicks play that I already have you guys locked up is Yasmin over 90.5. It's Vitor Petrino under 7.5 minutes, but that's no longer available. They cut that one out. And then it was the Brandon Moreno over 20 minutes of fight time. So this new one here has got 2 of the same entries, the Moreno over 20 minutes, the Yasmin over 90.5 fantasy score. But then we add the Jack Della Maddalena under 4 minutes, the Jalen Turner under 10 minutes, and the Volk under 22.5 minutes. So, I do like Vitor Petrino to finish this fight in the first 7.5 minutes. But if it goes past that, I think Prachnio maybe gets the job done by decision, because it means that Vitor is not landing the big shots. And I figure the longer the fight goes on, the less likely it is that you're going to land that big shot. But we saw Vitor kind of carry that power into the 3rd round against Turcali. He was destroying him. But Turcali's a very durable dude. So he didn't get him out of there, but I think a lot of other people would have definitely been finished. We got Rouses in the room. Oi, Unc, do you think Tyra gets 2 or more takedowns? We can count on him getting at least 1, unless he gets starched early. And I don't think he's getting starched by Kyrez, dude. Tatsuro Tyra's striking is not bad at all. So, 2 takedowns. I think if you put a gun to my head and made me play that prop, which I don't want to play, I think 2 is if you were like Uncle Weezy, you're now in charge of setting these lines for PrizePicks. And then the PrizePicks people come to me and they say, what are we doing for Tyra? I would say I'd set it at 2, or maybe even 1.5, and say I'd probably even set it at 1.5 and be like, I mean, I think if Tyra gets a second takedown, it's probably happens less often than he gets 1 or 0. So yeah, I don't think he gets 3 takedowns, man, because I think if he gets 1, there's a very high probability that he winds up finishing the fight. He's that good. He's that efficient at getting to the back. Kyrez, I don't think has ever been submitted, but I mean, if you look up and down his record, well, he has. As a matter of fact, he got submitted by Jesus Aguilar, but that was in the 5th round. So no, I think I would, if it's 2 or more, I would take the under. I would take especially if it's at 2, I would feel pretty comfortable about that under, because I don't think Kyrez is going to last 3 rounds with Tatsuro Taira. Vulgar saying Yasmin's speed is a deal breaker for me, and Gomez's striking defense I feel is vulnerable. Dude, check out Gomez's striking defense in the UFC. 39.47%. That's the number I have highlighted right there. 39.47% for Denise Gomez. So against somebody like Yasmin Jauregui, who's already landing 5.88 significant strikes per minute and has that, average 37.3% accuracy, that accuracy is going to go up. And I think she's going to land over 6 significant strikes per minute. And if Jauregui just stops a couple of takedowns, I think she easily covers that 90 points, because in PrizePicks, you're getting 0.6 points for each significant strike. So even if the fight did go the distance, if she's landing 6 significant strikes per minute at distance, that would be 90 significant strikes. That would put her at, I think, 54 points right there. 20 points for the win puts her at 74. But if she lands a knockdown, stops a couple takedowns, she's easily over 90. And also, that number could be 8 significant strikes per minute. With somebody that pressures as much as Gomez, somebody that's in the pocket as much as Gomez, I really do think that this 29% striking defense overall and the 39% distance striking defense is going to just be a huge problem for Denise Gomez here. And I think that Jauregui probably gets her out of there and finishes the fight. But even if she doesn't, I just think if she stuffs 1 or 2 takedowns, she'll probably cover those 70 points before the decision points to get you easily to 90 points on the fantasy score. We got Flo in the room saying, "Oh, what's up, Flo?" We got Vulgar Sports Channel saying, "Don't get me started on Shannon Ross. Why the F is he here?" Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, like, I know that he showed a lot of toughness in the Contender Series fight, and because he fought with a burst appendix, it's the kind of guy you want on the roster, somebody that's going to show up, somebody that's going to be there, somebody that's going to give you a good fight, whether they win or lose. And, I think that's why he's here. But in terms of skill level, I mean, what does Shannon Ross do anywhere that's UFC level in any part of his game? Is his striking UFC level? I don't think so. Is his durability, is that UFC level? I don't think so. He's been finished more times than he hasn't in his losses. Is his grappling UFC level? Not really. Conditioning UFC level? No. Strength of schedule? I don't know what he's doing here, man. I don't get it. We got honestly, Woodburn by KO is worth a sprinkle. Bo's cage time is a mystery, damn near, and Bro wasn't doing the head and arm triangle. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, dude, like that's one of the first submissions I learned as a kid when I was doing judo, and they wouldn't teach us submissions, but I could watch the brown belts and the black belts over on the other side of the room, and when I'd be taking a break, I remember watching them practice some of that stuff. And the arm triangle is one of the easiest submissions to learn. You really do just need to get your opponent's shoulder right there in the neck. Once you do that and you get it wedged in there, you put pressure on it, get your ass down, and you get yourself to the side of your opponent that you're choking on. And he just didn't look like he was doing it correctly, and he looked like he was trying to squeeze without getting the position first, because when you just try to squeeze, you can get tired. And the thing I worry about with Bo Nickel, ladies and gentlemen, is that wrestling matches are only 7 minutes in college. Okay. So, and Bo Nickel is somebody who didn't even go to decision a lot. I mean, he was pinfalling dudes, text falling dudes. So this guy is so elite at that sport, but that sport is different than MMA because in MMA you need a 15-minute gas tank. And we don't know if he's even got a 5-minute gas tank yet because we never really even have seen him past 3.5 or 4 minutes. And even, like the Pickett fight went about 4 minutes, but 2.5 minutes of that, he was being controlled. And while Bo wasn't finishing the choke, he also wasn't losing the position either. And that's always the most important thing. So, yeah, while it wasn't perfect choking technique, also at the same time, he never lost that position. He never went submission over position and then wound up getting reversed. The only time we really saw him get reversed was when he locked up that triangle and rolled to his back. And that was picture perfect. But yeah, there's so much more we need to find out about Bo. So yeah, I mean, laying minus 2,500 on his money line, it's just, don't do it, you guys. That doesn't add anything to your parlay. Just enjoy the performance. It's about making money. And when they're not giving you any money for making the bet, don't make the bet. Let's see here. I honestly think Pracknio has a chance with gas tank and kicks too. Yeah, he does a good job maintaining distance with kicks. And he can work the legs. He can work the body. So I think those are two good things to do against a guy like Petrino. When you're hitting the body, it's a little bit easier to be defensively responsible. Same thing with when you're throwing out those leg attacks. So we'll see how it all goes. But Pracknio's been hot lately. And he was a tough opponent in the Felipe Lins fight. And Lins really brought the pace. So this might be one I just kind of like go the other way and maybe try a small shot on Pracknio by decision, or try a small shot on the fight goes to decision, and just like have those be like my Pracknio bets, so to speak, and just maybe put a quarter unit on it or a half unit at most. Maybe sprinkle a quarter unit fight goes, a quarter unit Pracknio decision, some shit like that. I don't know. But I think there's ways to make money off of that fight. I just don't know how invested I want to be, because I would not be surprised if Pracknio was sleeping 45 seconds into that fight. I don't think a lot of people would be surprised. If you watch Vitor Petrino's tape, this dude, he's a very powerful guy. True saying, but Pracknio's takedown defense is fraudulent. Dude, True, it's not that bad. If you watch the Felipe Lins fight, he stopped a lot of those takedowns, and the ones where he was taken down, you got to admit, he got back up every single time. And that's the most recent version of Pracknio that I've seen deal with takedowns. So I kind of feel like on paper, it doesn't look great. But if you watch that Lins fight, I thought he actually fought hard there. And what I liked was that when he was taken down, he didn't let it go flat to his back. He would get to a hip, he would shrimp, he would get his back up to the fence, and he would stand back up, and he kept getting back up. So yeah, but true, it's the thing is, like, do I want to have my money on Marcin Pracknio? Do I see a path for him? Yes. Is that the dog I want to back this week? God, man, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, bro. Vulgar Sports Channel likes Tyra sub round 2-3. Yeah, I kind of think that Kyrez is really good in round 1. But when you watch the tape, like, even though he doesn't look tired in round 2 or 3, he doesn't look like his mouth's not wide open. He doesn't look really slow or look like he wants to get out of there, or, is putting his hands on his hips. But, man, it's just like after round 1, the output just wanes. So I really kind of feel like Tyra's best win condition is to just kind of, put it on him in the first and really wear him down, and then finish him in the second. I tend to agree that I think he's more likely to get it done in the second or the third than he is in the first. But, I mean, nothing would surprise me with Tyra. He's just probably getting better and better and better, too. Yeah, and Petrino has decent wrestling, too. Yeah, it's not bad. He didn't show us any wrestling on his tape, except for, some takedown defense and some get-up game until, like in the Contender Series when he fought that dude that he's beaten twice, Bellini or some shit like that. What was it? Bellato. He showed decent get-up game and all that stuff. He was trying to stop some takedowns, but, he did get taken down. But yeah, in the next fight against Turkalj, where you're kind of expecting Turkalj to go out there and get the takedowns, Vitor got 7 takedowns and got 41% control time while allowing 31%. So he showed that he could be in a high-paced fight, a back-and-forth fight, up and down, reverses, grappling, and still push a pace for the full 15 minutes. So I definitely like that from Vitor there. But yeah, I think the longer this fight stays on the feet, the more likely it is that Vitor winds up landing a big shot, gets Marcin Prachnio out of there. We got SD Crusaders in the room and saying DDP by Diamond Cutter should be plus 2,000. Wouldn't that be badass if you actually went out there and pulled off the Diamond Dallas page, Diamond Cutter? That would be spectacular. I did see somebody win a mixed martial arts fight with a Boston Crab once. How cool is that? I think that's so badass that somebody could do that. Could finish somebody with a Boston Crab. God, that takes me back to my youth when I used to watch wrestling, man. Thank you for watching, SD Crusader. That one got me laughing, man. John Barker saying, make no mistake, if they wanted that shit to change, they'd change it. It's 100% corruption. Yeah, of course, dude. Like I say, how do you, give a scorecard that there's like no reason that you could give somebody that round, and then you're right there next week. There's no consequences, no review process or anything, no consequences for bad decisions. So then it's obviously on purpose. We got Real Deal Prime in the room with the wrestling rules. Good to see you hanging out in here. We got TH saying, oi, let's get it, Weezy. What's up, TH? Thank you for hanging out in here tonight. We got T-Funk in the room saying, got Kirk plus 155. Scaredy seems like a public underdog this week. Yeah, the thing is that there's so many juiced favorites that you have to find some underdogs that you think have a path. And frankly, Camuola Kirk has a path. Now, there's some missing information on Camuola. Number one, we haven't seen him in a very long time, and I always find that troubling. The layoff for Camuola Kirk is 1 year and 3 months and 10 days as of the time that I made this spreadsheet and imported it. So it's close to 1 year and 4 months now. What's he been doing in that time? He's coming up a weight class. We've seen him quit not once but twice in the UFC octagon against Billy Quarantillo on Dana White Contender Series and against Damon Jackson. And even Amir Khani, who has about 1 round of gas, took him down in the third and controlled him for a good amount of time there. From what I've seen on film from Camuola Kirk in the UFC, there's really not a lot of reason to back him here. But with Ribovics, you got a guy who's getting taken down over and over and over again by Louis Rajabov. And we know that Camuola is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and has got a really good ground game. When you see it pre-UFC, even in the Quarantillo fight, he takes Quarantillo down twice in the first round and piles up a ton of control time and is looking really good. But Billy Quarantillo does what Billy Quarantillo does. Once that bell rings in the second round, he comes out there, he walks forward like a zombie, and he throws 150 significant strike attempts over 5 minutes and just breaks people. So this is a different stylistic fight, but I'm picking Ribovics to win here. I think that his power is a serious problem. And Kirk is not a guy that I think that has this phenomenal striking that you don't have to worry about him getting hit. When you see Ribovics out there with a 49% striking accuracy and he's landed a knockdown, obviously the guy is very fucking dangerous at this point. So I think that this is a very fun fight, but I kind of need to see what 155-pound Camuola Kirk looks like, what he's been working on, because he's still only 29 years old as well, you guys. So Camuola could have made massive improvements over that 1 year and 4 months. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what the reason for the layoff is, but we're going to find out whether he's ready for El Gringo Ribovics on Saturday. I think it's going to be a fun fight, but I don't have any action on it. I think the line right now, especially, is right about where it should be, and that's with Ribovics around minus 145, Camuola maybe plus 125. I think that line kind of makes perfect sense. We've got Vulgar Sports Channel saying Shannon Ross face blocking is UFC. Oh, yeah, he does block punches with his face at the UFC level for sure, man. About nobody does it better than him. That is an excellent, excellent point. We got Tom Kane in the room. He's throwing a couple $2 parlay lottery tickets. Let's stack some dogs and hit a big one. Let's see. Let's find some dog shots that are fat here. Go back to the sports book. UFC. Refresh. I don't know why it does that. Definitely not betting on Terrence Mitchell. We could do Prochnio by decision at plus 600, but that's not available yet on DraftKings. We could do Menafield by knockout at like plus 170. I think that's a pretty good one. We can do Robbie Lawler by knockout. And then just Dricus du Plessis money line. How about that, man? How about we do that? Or you can throw Pantoja in there if you want. Let's do Pantoja. Dricus du Plessis. Robbie Lawler by KO. Winning method. Robbie Lawler to win by KO. And then I want to do Prochnio by decision. And then I want to do Menafield by KO. Plus 17,000. So if we were to put $10 on that, that would win us 1,717 bucks. And that's without Prochnio by decision in there, which would be, if we were to say like find like a plus, it's plus 600. So let's say Denise Gomes by decision is the same line. That would be $10 to win 12,020. So it would be Pantoja, Dricus du Plessis, Lawler by KO, Menafield by KO, and then Prochnio by decision. That would be my lottery ticket play here. $10 to win 1,700 or some shit. That I think that's pretty good, man. Not a bad one. Let's go with that one, Tom. Vulgar Sports Channel saying Tyro Walls of Jericho round. Dude, if anybody could do it, it's Tatsuro Taira. His grappling is that good, Vulgar Sports Channel. I love it, man. Matt Campbell in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, Unc? Happy hump day." Yeah, man. For me, I'm pretty much done after tonight, you guys. Don't forget, next week, your Uncle Weezy is not going to be covering this card. I'm not going to be doing just a tip with Uncle Weezy. There will be no probability. There will be no Ask Weezy next week. It's a really rough card, and I'm going to spend it trying to build a PrizePicks and underdog product on my Patreon, and I'm going to try to get ahead to the next card too. So it's not like I'm just taking the week off and going to be sleeping all week. I'm going to be working on making the Patreon better so that I can get more people on the Patreon and that I can actually make enough money to sustain myself by doing this for a living. It's a dream of mine. It's not coming to fruition yet, but it's close. And in order for me to actually make that dream come true, I need to improve the products that I can create for you guys. The products that will make us more data-driven decision makers in our gambling lives, and that will make us more profitable gamblers, so that we can not only enjoy watching the sport that we enjoy watching, but we can also make money making the right choices and beating these bookies at their own game by having access to all the data that we need to have access to. So yeah, I'm not going to be covering next week's card, but I will be spending that time creating a product that hopefully with the UFC England card coming up the week after that will be the start of a new show, which maybe we'll try to combine probability and into not just an over-under show, but also a PrizePicks and underdog show, so that we can predict where they're going to set the lines and try to jump on them when they open. But that's the plan. Happy hump day to you too, Matt Campbell. And yeah, you guys won't be seeing me next week here. Ass shaving of the week. It says AJ Worsen. The ass shaving of the week this week is going to be Cameron Simon to shave the ass of one Terrence Mitchell. We've seen Terrence Mitchell savagely knocked out a couple of different times, and I think that this one is going to be violent as well. I don't think the guy belongs here. It's an Alaska FC fighter, so there are no wins on his resume that would lead anybody to believe that he belongs in the UFC. And I think that Cameron Simon, who's a really good prospect and undefeated prospect, is going to treat him accordingly. And so, yeah, that is the ass shaving of the week. Let's see here. We've got AJ saying Uncle Weezy is a leader of men. You're damn right, AJ. Thank you for hanging out with us here today. We've got Rouse saying, I'm thinking about betting Simon by KO, but was wondering if you think Simon has club and sub equity. Thanks for the help, as always, Weezy. First of all, let's see how many wins by submission Cameron Simon has in his pro career. So he does have one win by submission. He's got 5 wins by knockout. Terrence Mitchell has never been submitted in his career, but he has been knocked out twice. One of them by Zach Eastlick, and then the other one was in the house by Kai Kara France, like 30 seconds into their fight. So Terrence Mitchell does get knocked out, and Cameron Simon is primarily a KO artist. Now, where are the props is the question. So let's look here. So Simon by KO is minus 140. Simon by submission is plus 400. So I find that strange because usually on Bet Online, they're going to juice the most likely outcome and then give you a little bit of value on the less likely outcome, which in my opinion is submission on this one. But minus 140, I think, is a great way to actually play Simon this week because Simon inside the distance is minus 300. So I feel like Simon by KO because, this kid's got neuro ass legs. He's skinny as fuck. I think that he's going to get knocked out, and he doesn't take punches well. And Cameron Simon really does prefer to stand, and I think he's going to be the much better striker here. So, yeah, man, I think that Simon by KO would be the way that I would play it. Not enough meat on that submission bone, in my opinion. But you got to do what you think is best, Rousis. Let's see here. SD Crusader is saying, I liked Kirk earlier this week, but it's close to a pick'em now. Got to go with Ribovics now. Yeah, I'm picking Ribovics, but like I said, I've got no money on the fight. I think the line is right about where it should be. And, I think that Esteban's got a lot more finishing equity, and that's definitely worth something. He's the younger fighter. He's been the busier fighter lately as well. But obviously, Kenwell Kirk's going to be the better grappler. He's more experienced. He's got a 6-inch reach advantage, and he's fought the better brand of competition in comparison to Esteban Ribovics. So there's reasons to like both fighters here. We'll just have to see how it goes on Saturday. Brandon Gutierrez saying Lawler gets his 30th career win on UFC's 30th anniversary. Yeah, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? And, with Price, you got a guy who's going to stand and bang with him, so this is going to be the fight that both guys want. I think it's going to be a great fight for the fans. I like fight doesn't go to decision. It's minus 175, I believe, on draft or on Bet Online, which is a very good line, in my opinion. I think this fight does finish inside the distance. Yeah, still minus 175, but here on DraftKings, Lawler Price to not go to decision is minus 250. So, there's a pretty good line being hung out there. I wish I could parlay it with something and get plus money because I hate laying 1.75 units to win one. It's like you can hit every bet and then lose that one and you're right back to even. So I'm looking at that minus 175, but Bet Online doesn't let you parlay props most of the time, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. We got Vulgar Sports Channel. He's leaning towards Menafield in the Menafield-Crute fight. I'm picked Crute, but I've got Menafield in my cash lineup on DraftKings because I think that his win condition is an early knockout, so a much higher ceiling on him, in my opinion. We got T-Funk saying, better parlay, Turner and Price or Simon and Jauregui? I would say that Simon and Jauregui, even though it's really juicy, I would be really confident that the minus 540 and Yasmin and minus 375. Yeah, that's minus 200. But I mean, I really do think it hits. I think Jauregui has more of a chance to lose than Simon does. I think Simon's just going to absolutely destroy Mitchell. But Denise Gomez is a tough opponent. And, you know, somebody as technical as Jauregui might actually have problems dealing with the pressure and the forward motion of Denise, the willingness to give, eat one or two to give one. But, you know, Jauregui hits really hard. And, you know, every time that Denise is going to be throwing, Jauregui's going to be throwing right back at her and landing. So, yeah, I think that this is a good one, the better one. Simon Jauregui at minus 200, and then maybe what I would do from there to get it to even money. Doesn't even get it to even money, but you could put the greatest fighter maybe of all time there in Alexander Volkanovski to get it to minus 112. But yeah, the parlays are juicy this week, and that's why I don't have any yet. I might still try to find some. Like I said, if I could have, if Bet Online let you parlay props, I would have parlayed the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 175 for Nico Price with the Simon inside the distance prop, which opened at minus 175. That would have given me plus money, and I probably would have made a bigger bet on that. But can't do that on their website, so I don't know what to do with that minus 175. All right, Matt Campbell saying, you don't love a Holly Holm main event in 2023? No, I don't. But also at the same time, Matt, it's not just about hating the card. The card does suck, but as a content creator, especially me and Brady, because we do content all week right up until fight day. After fight day happens, Brady and I have a show on Sunday at 6:15 p.m. Central Time called Stat Diggers, you know, that we need to be ready for every week. So while everybody else, all the other content creators get to kind of like relax on a Sunday, relax on a Monday, maybe they get to watch a little tape and, you know, but I'm doing, but by Tuesday night, I've already done 5 hours worth of content on the next card. By Tuesday night, because 2 hours on Stat Diggers, 1 hour on probability on Monday, 2 hours on Just the Tip on Tuesday. So when you put 17 weeks of UFC back to back 11 more times to make it 17, I don't get any days off, because even like tonight, you know, after Ask Weezy's done, I don't have any content planned for tomorrow. I'll do a short Greasy Four Leg Parlay video on Friday, but Thursday and Friday I'm setting up the stats for 3 weeks from now, and I'm going to be finishing up the UFC London stats late night tonight. So even though I think the card is trash, yes, what I really need is just some time, because otherwise I would spend probably about 30 hours to 40 hours watching tape, writing up these fights, doing all that. All that time could be spent building a new product that would help me be able to continue doing this and have a little bit more money coming in, you know, because as much as I love the support on YouTube, really what I need is the support on Patreon in order to be able to keep doing this full time. So, yeah, I'm looking to just build things behind the scenes and give myself a break, because 17 weeks in a row is entirely too many. So that's what I had to do. You have to pick a shit card. This is a shit card, and I'm gonna get a little bit of rest, replenish, get ready for the next 10 straight weeks, 11 straight weeks up until mid to late September. That's how many weeks we're going without a week off, us content creators. So I'm creating a week off for myself, and it's much, much needed. Vulgar Sports Channel saying next week's card is perfect time to do laundry. You got that right, man. Nice. Could even round robin it. There you go, man. I think that those are some good spots, man. We got David Barista in the room. Ring a ding ding. Saying passion is everything. Love your content. Thank you so much, David, for supporting the show. Really appreciate that. I love creating this content for you guys. And when you guys support your Uncle Weezy financially, it makes me feel great that you guys find value in the content and you're willing to give some of your hard-earned money to me for putting this out there for free on YouTube. So it means a lot, David. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you so much for supporting the show. We got Matt saying one monster African shaving the ass of an Alaskan. Hell yeah, baby. I love it, dude. Yeah. Terrence is taking it on short notice, up a weight class. And, like the wins on his resume are over nobody that anybody's ever heard of. So, yeah, now he's going to be fighting Cameron Simon, who's out there, beating guys like Manny Martinez, beating guys like Josh Wong Kim, on the Contender Series. A very good prospect there. Made him look, he made that look fairly easy as the fight went on. So, yeah, this guy is really good, and I think he's going to shave some ass. And I think Terrence Mitchell's going to run into a dick saw on Saturday, everybody. We got Flo in the room saying, yeah, dude, next week is a great card to work on some new stuff instead. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Instead of spending all that time breaking down those trash fights, I'm just going to take the week off of gambling, take the week off of content creation, and create some stuff that for the rest of these awesome cards that are going to be coming up after the Holly Holm card. I'll be able to produce some content for you guys that you would hopefully find even more valuable than what I'm already doing. So, yeah, absolutely. And Vulgar Sports Channel, ring a ding ding, saying, "Oi, Weezy rocks" with the $1.99 donation. I truly appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for supporting the show and hanging out, asking questions, engaging with your Uncle Weezy. It means a lot, you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you that's hanging out live with you, with me here. 34 of you hanging out live, and I know there's a lot of other shows going on right now too. So I appreciate you being here. And hit that thumbs up if you like the content. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of the great content coming forward. Not for next week, but after that. And yeah, leave me a content down below, and please consider joining the Patreon at the address down below. We've got Tay Raitia Piku saying, "Hey, Weezy, I did my first live bet last week. 2 units on Lipsky plus 400 in the second round. Cashed it." Dude, that's awesome, man. That plus 400 bets are hard to hit. That is a 20% implied probability. Over the long run, if you're doing it right, you're hitting those bets like 1 out of 4 times, 25% of the time, so that you're a little bit plus EV. So whenever you hit in a plus 400, it's a good day, my man. And that's a great way to start. Find a close fight where you think that, it could go either way, but the money's all coming in on the favorite. That was a great call, dude. Nice work. What's a good live betting fight for this week? There was one that I could think of. If Prochnio survives the first round against Vitor Petrino, I think maybe a live bet on Prochnio after round 1 could be decent. Other than that, if somehow Val Woodburn lasts 5 minutes with Bo Nickel, maybe take a small shot on him, because you've never seen Bo Nickel out of a first round ever as a mixed martial artist. Yeah, and Volkanovski at minus 380, you might be able to get him, at a reduced price if Yair has a good first round. But I think as that fight goes on, Volkanovski's going to find the range and the timing, and he's going to, make the decisions that he needs to make in order to make Yair uncomfortable. And I think he'll find his way into that fight. So maybe if Yair has good first round, live bet Volk. But other than that, there's nothing else really sticking out in terms of live bets. Boob saying, Weezy, do you know what Cameron Simon means? No, I don't. I mean, I know that Cameron is just, like a name like anything else, but I do not know what SAAIMON means. I do not. And we got Vulgar Sports Channel saying, Paku, I suggest live betting against people you think might have a bad gas tank. Yeah, that's always a good idea. And Teratia Paku saying, cheers to Vulgar. And Vulgar saying, what's up right back? Let's see. Who are your DK dogs of the week, says TH. So the cash lineup that I put in this week, you guys, was Alexander Volkanovski, Jalen Turner, Vitor Petrino, Alonzo Menefield is a dog at 8,000. And then I have Alexander Pantoja at 7,500 because Pantoja, I feel that fight is going to go at least 4 rounds, maybe the full distance. I have a bet on fight goes to decision at plus 120. So I feel at 7,500 and a potential for 25 minutes in the cage to score points. I think Pantoja is easily one of my favorite dogs, especially for like a cash lineup this week. I think he's going to be high owned, but I also think that his floor is very high unless Moreno's the first person to ever finish him as a pro. Lawler is the last guy. So it's Lawler, it's Pantoja, it's Menefield, and then up top it's Volkanovski, Jalen Turner, and Vitor Petrino. That's what I've got in my lineup this week. Maybe if Duplessis somehow wins the first, that's not a bad idea either. You could see Whitaker getting his timing and figuring it out, and getting better as the fight goes on. But Dricus fights; he can fight through being tired too. And do you think a quarter unit bet on dogs like Yair, Dricus, Gomez is more EV than a 1 unit chalky parlay on 4? Yeah, I do. Absolutely, Ren Dog, because think about it, right? Like, let's say that you think Dan Hooker is live at plus 230. Let's say that you think Dricus Duplessis is live at plus 300. Let's say that you think that Yair's live at plus 290. You might think that Pantoja is live at plus 170. You might think that Robbie Lawler is live at plus 200, right? A lot of people, I think, are going to think Denise Gomez is live this week, right? Any of those bets, right? Let's say that you like these 3 right here. You put a quarter unit on each of those. If you hit one of them, you're ahead. If you lose all 3 of them, you're down 0.75. But if, God forbid, you hit 2 or 3 of them, then all of a sudden you're up a lot. But yeah, if you put a chalky parlay with 3 of these guys or 4 of these guys that's sitting around plus 105, then all that has to happen is one of them has to go wrong and you lose everything. When you bet this style and you like Gomes and you like Lawler and you like Pantoja, only 1 out of the 3 has to come through in order for you to be plus money. But you could do 1 unit on a parlay at plus 112. And you could do 0.25 units on all 3 of these. You could still wind up losing all 3 and you still only lose 0.75 units. It's something you can easily bounce back from one good bet. So it's always easier. There's always so much more room for error. And there's going to be error no matter what. Think of all the times that you've laid chalk and it went tits up. I mean, if you're a gambler like me and you've been doing this for a minute, you've been watching this kind of content, you've been gambling, you've been keeping track of your results, you know that there are always those times where you're like, fuck, man, I had Dustin Jacoby against Khalil Roundtree and the decision went the wrong way. I had Corey McKenna at minus 200 against Elise Reed, and she didn't wrestle and wound up losing that fight. I had Christian Leroy Duncan at minus 150 against Armin Petrosian, and he goes out there and, lands every jab that he throws, lands every teep kick that he throws, but he only threw 2 jabs and 2 teep kicks. The rest of the time he's throwing these spinning hook kicks that never fucking land and have like a 2% chance of landing. So he goes out there and just shits the bed as a favorite. He's more talented, he's longer, he's younger, he's got the better ground game, he's got more ways to win, he's flashier, he's the guy that the UFC wants to win. And he goes out there and he shits the bed. So And, you can always be the beneficiary when you have these underdogs of something that, somebody just doesn't show up. That maybe they're hurt. Maybe you find out later, like TJ Dillashaw, you got money on Dillashaw and you're like, you mean one of his shoulders was popping out for the last 6 months and he didn't tell anybody? Come on. So yeah, I think those are always bigger plus the plus money bets leave you a lot more room for error. And if you're picking those plus money spots correctly, it's a lot easier to be plus EV in the long run. I meant his nickname. What is Cameron Simon's nickname? Oh, MSP? Is it MSP? I don't know what I'm not most savage player, maybe. Yeah, he's MSP. It might be most savage player, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know what his MSP. No, I don't know what that means. Matt Campbell is saying probably a dumb question, but how does DraftKings work? Do you just deposit a certain amount of money and pick fighters within a budget? Yeah, I mean you have to create the account. So in order to do that, you have to find one of the approved payment methods in order to get the money to the people at DraftKings. And as long as you are in a legal area to play, Matt, they will accept your money. And then you just start playing from there. And like, for instance, you can put money on if you're here on the sports book, then your money that you have in the account, you can put towards bets on the sports book. And for daily fantasy, it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to have some money, and I can enter this haymaker tournament. I can put together a lineup right now, right? And I'll make a one that's a little bit different. I like Volkanovski, but he's in my other lineup. I like Pantoja, but he's in my other lineup. I like Jalen Turner. But let's try to get a little bit different this time. I think you got to have this Crute-Menafield fight, so I'll put Crute in there. I like Cameron Simon to shave ass. Maybe we'll try to save some money with Kemuela Kirk, and if he wrestles a lot, he could rack up a decent amount of points. Now we're at 8,200 average salary, so I'm going to definitely need a good favorite here. And you know what? Let's go with Volkanovski again. And now we're at 77.50. So now we got to get some cheap guys. So maybe we can save some salary here with a guy like I could do Pantoja and Menafield. That kind of leaves us in a bad spot. Maybe we'll get a little bit different. We'll go with Brandon Moreno. And we'll go Terrence Mitchell, no chance. Kyrez, no chance. The Muscle Hamster, no chance. Well, you get the idea. You can just you put together lineups, yeah, and then you pick fighters within a budget. So that, you have to stay under 50,000, and you can do it for any sport. So yeah, it's all available, and it's pretty easy to do, Matt. The hard part is actually getting the money into the account. Once the money's in the account, then you can go in there and you can enter any of the contests that you want, and like you can X out of all this, and it's pretty cool. You click back here, and this is the lobby. And you can go up here to MMA, and now you can sort it by the entry fee and start with the free one, the 10 cents, and go all the way down to like $1,060 entries, and find the tournaments that are within your budget that have the kind of prize pools that you're looking for, and you just go from there. It's pretty easy, man. Vulgar Sports Channel saying Dillashaw shoulder gate, he was collecting one more paycheck, and he certainly did do that. And when you get hurt in a fight, the UFC will pay for your surgery. So he got his surgery paid for too. We got Nigel Lee saying, little insight. Typically stay away from retiring fighters, but Robbie Lawler is the play this weekend. Nico ain't right health-wise, just like I preached with playing Lipsky last week. yeah, you were right about Lipsky last week. You told us about the training situation with her and that she was getting a lot better, getting that individual attention from Amanda Nunes, and she looked fantastic again. You know, she upset the apple cart again as a big underdog, came through. So, and look, last time out, Nico Price looked slow and he had those big ass knee sleeves on. So, you know, I got Lawler in my cash lineup this week, Nigel Lee, and at plus money, I think he's a solid play. And if Nico is dealing with health issues, and we know that he's had both of those knees reconstructed, you know, Robbie could be a very live underdog this week for sure. Dude, I appreciate all you guys coming to hang out. Looks like we're out of questions, so I am going to retire for the night. I'm going to work on this Paloma. Thank all of you guys for joining me. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Hit that subscribe on your way out. And please consider joining the Patreon and help support me for the hard work that I put out for you guys here on YouTube for free. You guys, let's all stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 290 and enjoy the fights, and then come right back here at Uncle Weezy's channel on Friday after the weigh-ins. I will give you this week's greasy 4-leg parlay. Definitely some spots sticking out. Looking to see what we can get it in at this week. But let's go, you guys. We got Vulgar Sports Channel saying thank you, bro. Thank you for the donation. It's much appreciated. We got Flo saying cheers. Enjoy your night, Weezy. We got my guy Victor saying have a good night, Weezy, in chat. Thank all of you guys. Have a great one. We'll talk to you guys on Friday with the greasy 4-leg parlay, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 290. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you Friday.